You're such an asshole.
Continuing on with the contribution to GDP, there's only one charity, ladies and gentlemen, you should contribute to, and that is GDP, because if everyone contributed to GDP, there'd be no poverty, there'd be no poor, there'd be no welfare. It's amazing what happens if everybody contributes enough to GDP. That's the charity Captain donates to every day, and you should too. This also comes from our client who wanted a book report done on the Harry Brown thing. He wants me to do a rant on why New York City sucks. I honestly can't do a rant because to do a rant requires you have some kind of emotional vested interest or opinion about it. And my only 2 times I've been to New York City was for interviews. One time I drove out to New York City, but my actual time spent in New York City was very brief. I just took a train over from Jersey to Battery Park, and then the other time I had to go more midtown, and I actually had a good time, albeit it was very brief, just seeing all the stuff that I saw on television and movies. Like I turned a corner and there's the New York Public Library where the Ghostbusters ran out. I'm like, oh my god, the Ghostbusters. And then I saw the NBC studios where now in hindsight you realize that's just NBC. Look at how awesome we are. Here's us. It's like the old version of selfies. It was corporations taking selfies of, look, it's NBC Radio City. But it was very limited. I could tell you by paying attention to their politics, the election of Teeth and Eyes, their latest representative, the fact that it always votes left, it's losing population, and traffic. But that can be, these criticisms can be laid upon any major U.S. city. They're liberal, they're congested, they quite cleverly, and this isn't a rant against them, but they quite cleverly, I would say, not steal, fool, schnooker the youth into giving them, and by them I mean the owners of the city, property owners, employers, they really hoodwink, that's a better word, they hoodwink the youth of America to give up their most valuable parts of their lives, their youth and their energy, to pay egregious rents, to work for pennies, to suffer and endure traffic and pay for I mean, they rape the youth. These cities rape the youth of America. New York City has done that. Because if I can make it there, I can make it anywhere. They're arrogant. They constantly, all New Yorkers are able to bend down very far so that they might suck their own dick. Like, we're New York, man, and they're all proud. That's why I say, have you ever left New York? No. Well, the flyover country attitude. I mean, it's your standard people living in a bubble, all thinking the same way, being sheep. But then when people go there from the rest of the country, be it L.A. or New York, it attracts sheep. It attracts the cattle, and people think they think there's value in, well, I live in this physical location versus another physical location. And it's like, no, there's no added value. There's nothing better about you because you live in this town versus what do you do? What do you produce? And don't have pride in the town that you are there very transitorily, because most people will not make it in New York. L.A. is one thing, and that was heavily propagandized and promoted to Generation Z. I'm sorry, Generation X, where all the movies in the 80s were about how cool L.A. was. Oh, everyone had to go. And I know a lot of girls. I'm going to go to L.A., I'm going to party, and I'm going to become a movie star. And so that's always been there. And then it's like, nah, yeah. And then they come crawling back because, whereas they thought they were hot in Wisconsin, they were really ugly in Los Angeles. You're a prom queen in Sheboygan, and you are a solid 4 in Beverly Hills. So I like how then they come back. But New York was the same thing, except for maybe slightly different. Oh, you're going to go on Broadway. Oh, you're going to live in the big city. Oh, you're going to be in Wall Street. The the latest thing we can point to specific to New York that was in media was Sex in the City. And it's impossible to measure the numbers, but enough women moved out to New York City to think they were going to live the Sex in the City life, not realizing it's a fucking TV show. They've written articles about it. And even when Sex and the City had their 20th anniversaries, they were like interviewing, were you prompted to move to New York because of these girls? And like, yeah, there was like scores of women writing and contributing and commenting. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Anyway, sheep. These towns attract the nation's sheep. And every other common criticism that could come with living in a large metro area. Your traffic sucks, your taxes are high, you're surrounded by liberals. Up until Giuliani took over, New York was just riddled with crime. You have corruption. I can't, but it's not living there, I can't do a rant. I can look at it academically and point out all the socio-political and economic flaws, why you would not want to live in New York City, why you're a fool for going there. But unless I had actually spent time there, but essentially I was a tourist, and so of course my opinion is going to be, well, we got to see the New York Public Library, yay. But yeah, in hindsight, there's no way. I did enjoy my time living in Chicago, I'll admit that. I think if you're younger and you do have a job and you just want to live big city living, a year or two is not that bad to say. It's even good for you. Say, you appreciate open roads. And a lot of young people go there. It's like a nightclub or a party. Okay, it's good to go to your house party in college. It's good to go to your standard frat party. It's good to maybe live in a major metro area. But for God's sake, don't stay there. You get the hell out. Go to where the economy's moving. Move west, young man. Go to Alaska. Go here. Go there. Go to Tennessee. Go to Florida. The New York City. That's once you start making good money and you're a professional, get the hell out. Because you want to talk about the Matrix. It's just you young people plugged in to keep that city alive. And thank God you do, because you'll pay egregious rents. You'll have your parents subsidized. God almighty, they did a study on the rental market of New York City, and they found out that if you took away all the Exo Jane and Condé Nast and Jezebel and Huffington Post writers' parents' money, not the writers' money because they don't make money, but if you took away their parents' money, the rental real estate market would collapse, because all these young women need mommy, daddy, or hubby to pay their rent, and if they took out those women from the rental market, you'd pay $200 a month for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. They did it because here's the thing, if the city pays so little and the cost of living are so high that you have to import money to survive there, it's not feasible. But that's why I'm saying is these are like vampires on the country's youth. But you youth are stupid and you're young, and so youth is wasted on the youth. And the go pay $300 a month to live where all the action is. But unfortunately, I can't really tirade against New York City because I wasn't there. I can't even tirade against Chicago. I loved hanging out in Chicago. That was a great year that I ended up spending there. But glad I got out. Glad I didn't stay. But I could tirade against the Twin Cities and Minnesota in general. But no, I just have no hatred for New York City. I just have no respect for their politics or economics or demographics or sociology. It's just like, okay, that's where young people go and piss away their lives. Have fun. I love getting videos like where I rip apart different degrees and you go through and you see all the 21, 22, and 23. You're just ignorant. That's a comment. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just angry. You just didn't. It's like that. Please, by all means, get your doctorate in theater and go try to make it over on Broadway. But all right, that's it. Questions, answers, ASOconsulting.com. Links down below. We'll see you all later. Toodles.